This is BBC World News. Our top stories. The first commercial manned mission to the International Space Station splashes down off the coast of Florida.
As you can see on your screen, we have visual confirmation for splashdown.
One of the most important figures in the Indian government, the Interior Minister, tests positive for COVID-19 as the country records more than 50,000 new cases for the fourth consecutive day. Hello and welcome to BBC World News. To the Gulf of Mexico first, where in the last few minutes, 2 NASA astronauts have splashed down off the coast of Florida after completing the first commercial manned mission to the International Space Station. No spacecraft has landed in US waters since the last Apollo moon mission more than 40 years ago. Well, Libby Jackson is Human Exploration Programme Manager at the UK Space Agency, and she explained the significance of the latest mission.
It's certainly true that there are commercial opportunities out to the moon and onto Mars. The Artemis missions, which are going to be the humans returning to the moon, an international partnership with NASA, with the European Space Agency, the UK will play its part. Those are going to also be in partnership with commercial players. Here in the UK, we have a company that's looking at providing a commercial service around the moon to enable lunar communications, and that will help all the science missions that are going to head through.
Well, let's take you live now to just off the Florida coast, where you can see there the SpaceX Dragon capsule, which has landed, of course. And you can see a few people there. It's a pretty successful end to the mission, and many people saying this now predicts a new era for the American Space Agency. The 2 astronauts who were in that capsule, called Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken, and they had spent 2 entire months on the International Space Station before their 21-hour journey to come back down to Earth. Absolutely amazing pictures there. Well, Jonathan Amos is the BBC science correspondent and explained what this means for the future of space exploration.
The shuttles were retired in 2011, and since then American astronauts and indeed European astronauts have been relying on the Russians to get them up and down to the space station. This changes the paradigm completely because not only do we have SpaceX coming forward now with their capsule Dragon, but we have the Boeing Corporation very shortly to introduce their Starliner capsule. And that means then that we have 2 independent means of getting astronauts up and down, certainly from the United States, but then you have that third system, Soyuz, which we will continue to use. So if we have a problem with one of them, then we have 2. If we have a problem with 2 of them, we have 1. So we won't be in that situation where we can't get up to the space station or get down.
Jonathan Amos there. Moving on now, because COVID-19 is, of course, continuing to take a significant toll around the globe. There are fears India could soon overtake the United States and Brazil as the country with the highest number of coronavirus infections, while in Australia, the state of Victoria has declared a state of disaster. A tally from official sources compiled by the news agency AFP reveals 685,780 people have died worldwide since the outbreak emerged in China in December. 17,896,220 coronavirus cases have been registered in 196 countries and territories. And of these, at least 10,326,000 have recovered. Well, in India, the Home Minister Amit Shah says he's tested positive for the coronavirus. Posting on Twitter, Mr. Shah, a key figure in the country's BJP-led government, said he felt well but had been admitted to hospital on the advice of doctors. On Sunday, India recorded over 50,000 new cases of the coronavirus for the 4th day in a row. Well, this graph shows the increase in new daily cases over the last month. Overall, there have been 1.75 million cases, and there are now fears the country could overtake the US and Brazil to become the country with the highest number of infections. Well, many states are imposing individual lockdowns for 15-day periods to help control the spread. But the Indian government is stressing that mortality rates are low at roughly 2%. It's also suggested that there are low rates of community transmission. Well, we spoke to Dr. Gerald Banate, who is in Nagpur, in one of the worst affected states in India, a little earlier.
India is a country with 1.3 billion people, and Maharashtra and particularly Mumbai, the city or the financial capital of our India, we have many citizens who are living in close quarters, and that is why the spread of the disease is a little easier or little faster for that matter. And if we compare to the population of India, the numbers which are right now is only because of the robust testing system which is going on in our country, and that is why these numbers are coming up, and which makes us to prepare ourselves to fight this coronavirus more aptly and bring out new protocols and standard operating procedures so that we can deal with coronavirus. We have a very robust healthcare system in India right now, and about the testing modalities, since the coronavirus has begun and since the pandemic has been declared by the WHO, we have almost tested 19.82 million people, and these shows how amazing and how great our system is working, and they are working day in and day out to test these patients and see whether there is positivity or negativity of the coronavirus.
One of the top doctors on the White House COVID-19 task force has warned the US has entered a new phase in its fight against the virus. Deborah Burke said the disease was now a greater threat than when the outbreak began, and cautioned people living in rural areas that they're not immune. Plenty more on our website, of course, including more on the landing of the crew's SpaceX Dragon capsule. These are live pictures of that capsule. I believe the astronauts have now exited the capsule and are in good health. Coming up next, The Contender. Stay with us.